mind. Girl, I get the money with you, make you mine. If you're loving every night, it make you mad. Now only you give me love and make me nice, nice, nice. I feel make you mine. But I love you, plus I never make you minus. If I let you smoke it, you gon' lose my lighter. If you paranoid, then I'ma spend the night. Thinking I love you every day. Diamond dancing, my money I go pay. For your love I go pay. It ain't making money chase. I feel this for you every day. When you call, run it back on replay. For your love I go pay. For your love I go pay. Psycho, make a trap is psycho. Maybe if you lazy, I go drive me psycho. Maybe if you treat it, don't they make me mad. Make you think you sing to the mic. Girl, you are that looking in your eyes. Show you many things you can utilize. If I say I love you, then I tell you like so. Show you everything I love tonight. True that, make you utilize. When we talk, we go revive. Give you many things, we put them make you dance. Girl, make you back up with the standing mic. It's going and he never call you back. You should leave him. Let me put some money in your bag. You don't need what I mean is if he do you bad. It ain't where you been, girl, it's where you at. Where you at? And I love you every day. Diamond dancing, my money I go pay.
What is up, y'all? Welcome if you're new, welcome back if you're not, to another day of Vlogmas. If you read by the title, today we're going to be doing kind of a self-care, kind of unwind with Taj type of video. I figured since I haven't done one of these type of videos on my channel before, that now would be the perfect time. Literally, it is currently like almost midnight, if I'm not mistaken. And today is the day that Malik, if you're new here and you don't know who Malik is, that is my husband. And he is an active duty Army soldier. So today / tonight, he's on a shift where he worked 24 hours. So I was like, usually when he works these, that's usually when I try to get in my little full self-care routine. You know, the routine that you wish you could do every single day, but don't really have time in your everyday life to do. As y'all saw, today is that type of day, and when he's gone for 24 hours, if you're married or in a relationship, you know, sometimes like just a full 24 hours apart, like to just love on yourself could really, you know, jumpstart the spark back in your relationship. Not saying that our relationship don't got no spark, but like, you know, like if I love on myself a little extra while he's at work, when he come home, he gonna want to love on me a little extra, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, so as y'all saw, I have already washed and exfoliated my skin. So I'm kind of gonna jump right into this, y'all. Low key, I'm a little tipsy and I'm on my second glass of wine because it wouldn't be an unwind with Taj without a glass of wine. So if you got a glass of wine and you're 21 or older, pour up. We about to just get into a little skincare, a lot of black owned products, by the way, because right. And I wrote down some topics. If you guys watched my previous Vlogmas video where I took you guys on a day in the life of a millennial realtor when I went on my brokerage shoot, I had a little portion in that video that was supposed to be a chit chat, get ready with me. And I said in that video that I didn't have any questions written. And then when I came back home and like went through my YouTube journal, I realized the Virgo in me actually did write down questions. I was just running late that day. If you haven't seen that vlog, don't worry. I'll be sure to leave it linked right here so you can go ahead and watch it. But pretty much today's video, I'm just going to be kind of doing my nighttime full self-care wind down routine and kind of talking about some of the topics that I was supposed to talk about in that video, but we're not gonna talk about it. Okay, so I feel like y'all done had enough b-roll, enough chit chat, enough intro. I'm sorry, low-key, I'm mad rude. If you're new here, my name is Tyanne, but a lot of people call me Taj. I told y'all, I'm already one glass in, and not for nothing, this is Taylor Port. If you know, you know. So I'm on my second glass of Taylor Port trying to do this. So it's low-key giving a kind of tipsy, chit-chat girl time unwind with me. But we're going to see where this goes. But I feel like I'm blabbing in the intro. So without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, y'all. So first things first. Low key, before I do, I'm gonna be doing a mask today. Before I even do that, I'm gonna want to kind of shape my brows. I don't get my brows professionally done. I've been doing my own brows for like the last 3 or 4 years. Unfortunately, low key, I'm bugging. Like, I should not be about to do this on dry skin, and I know that. So I am using my K-Skins Nourishing Stick. This is a small black owned brand, a black woman owned brand, and I'm just addicted to her products. They're like all natural. If you don't know, I'm super big on holistic care, like just using more natural things because y'all, we are exposed to enough chemicals. I obviously know that I can't minimize my exposure to chemicals that much, but wherever I could cut out some chemicals, I'm gonna do so, especially when it comes to this melanated skin. And I feel like it's super important as melanated people, if you are, period, to be using melanin owned products, because who knows what's best for our skin than people who have skin like us. You hear me? I am just gonna go in with this little, I want to call it a beauty supply razor, but I actually bought like a pack of these on Amazon. So I'm just gonna clean up my eyebrows because when my man come home in the morning, I want to make sure, you know, I look good. So I'm gonna clean up my brows and then I'm gonna come back and then I'm gonna come talk to y'all. All right, y'all. So now that my brows are done, I'm about to start with my face mask, and I'm just gonna be using the Aztec Healing Clay Mask. Some people say you're not supposed to use it for your face, but as long as I've known about it, people were raving about using it on your hair and on your face, and I've used it for both, and yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Some people use water when they do it on their face. Other people used apple cider vinegar. When I use it in my hair, I use apple cider vinegar. So today I'm gonna use a combination of apple cider vinegar and water. The key is to get the right consistency. And if this is your first time using this and you don't know, you're not supposed to use this mask like in a metal bowl or like with a metal spoon. So that's why you guys see me using this styrofoam, because that's all I have. I don't really have any plastic ones. And you want to get like a clay-like consistency. It takes trial and error to get the consistency right, but I just be eyeballing it. Some days I get it like super perfect. Other days, not so much. Oh, okay. So like Okay, I think this is actually really good. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but like it's like a clay like consistency where like it's not coming off the spoon, and that's like exactly what we want. So I'm actually just gonna mix this up a little bit more, make sure there's no chunks, and then I'm gonna just apply this all over my face. All right, so, and yes, I'm using the spoon to apply it because like it already has the product on it. So the first topic that I have written down is getting married young. I figured since this was like a personal type of video, I might as well use this opportunity to get a little bit more personal with you guys, because I realized if you are part of the tribe and you found me on YouTube, there's only but so much you know about me if you haven't followed my journey, whether that be on Instagram or on Twitter. And all of my handles will be obviously listed on the screen like you can see. Or maybe you haven't listened to my podcast. And so I figured I might as well use this as like a nice little intimate chit chat. Kind of get a little, let's get deep, y'all. So if you're new here and you don't know, I actually, at the time that I'm filming this, have almost been married for 9 years, which is like super crazy to even think about. Our anniversary, I don't know if this video is gonna go up around our anniversary or like, y'all, excuse me, like Vlogmas is a lot of work, okay? And our anniversary is actually December 27th. So I don't know where in Vlogmas this video is going to go. But December 27th will make 9 years that my husband and I have been married. We've been together for 10. And we got married super duper young. I was 18, he was 20 when we got married. And a lot of people would be like, even today, people are like, girl, what the were you thinking? And if I'm being real, y'all, I wasn't thinking super deep. And as weird as it's gonna sound, I've said this on my podcast, the Melanated Mindset, before. I've actually had my husband on my podcast for like I think he's done 2 episodes. So you guys can definitely check that out to get like our behind the scenes, like get the full love story. But like, y'all, I always knew that I would be married. Like I always knew I wanted to get married, but then like, no, this was different. Like I always knew that I would be, I look crazy. I always knew that I would get married. Like I always knew, like it's crazy to think, like now I feel like now that I'm on my spiritual journey, I really manifested this life for myself in my head as a child. Like I'm literally living the life that I always knew I would be. Like I always saw my life a certain way. I just didn't know like how I was gonna get there. Like I saw the end result, I just never saw the path, if that makes sense. So when I met my husband, at first, like I just was not feeling him. But like I said, go listen to my podcast to really get our full love story. But y'all, like we eloped. Like we didn't tell any of our, well, he told a few of his like family members, but like we didn't tell anybody. I told my best friend, and like that was it. Like our witnesses, we got married at the courthouse in Manhattan, because if you don't know, we're from New York City, Brooklyn. Your period, where they killed Biggie. Dang, R.I.P. to sis. If you know, you know. But yeah, like we went to the courthouse in Manhattan. My best friend from 6th grade, shout out to you, Shao. She was one of our witnesses. Another one of my witnesses was my college roommate at the time, Jocelyn. Shout out to you. And I think Carl, hey baby girl, was on FaceTime. Like y'all, it was just us. Like I will insert a picture of us on our wedding day right here. We were mad regular. We were children. Like literally we were children that literally low-key had no business getting married. But I don't know, y'all, like it just felt right. How would I feel if my child, if you guys are new here, you don't know, we have a 2-year-old son. But like if I had a daughter and she wanted to get married young, I don't honestly know how I would feel about it. It would honestly depend on the person that she's marrying. I had tested the idea with my parents, like dropped the idea in their head just to kind of see what their reaction was. And I wasn't really feeling their reaction. But I have this type of parents. I grew up in a very West Indian household. If you don't know, my father is Haitian and my mother is Panamanian. And I just grew up in a very, very traditional West Indian household, Hispanic household. So like getting married young, like first assumption is, sis, are you pregnant? Which I wasn't. And it's just like why? Like at the time, like I graduated high school, got married, and started college all in the same year. 2013 is literally like iconic. And the fact that it's about to be 2023, which means it's about to make 10 years for all of that, is like, it's a lot. But yeah, honestly, like it just felt right. Like I know a lot of people won't agree with that. A lot of people feel like you're supposed to, you know, have your fun. And I hate to be that girl, but like, y'all, I had my fun pretty young. And that's not to say I was out in these streets dotting and bopping, but like I had a lot of freedom as a teen, but it was because I earned that freedom. Like my parents were the type of parents that were like, as long as you're doing good in school, like, you know, like I had a good personality, like I had home training, like as long as I was doing what I was supposed to be doing, my parents wasn't on my back. So they let me do the things that I asked to do, not whatever I want to do, because still very much West Indian household. However, as long as my grades was good, and I made sure my grades wasn't just good, I made sure I was like dean's list, principal's list, on a roll. Like, so my parents was not worried about me. Hey, can I go to so-and-so house? Hey, I'm going to the mall after school. Like, I'm going to KP. Like, can I go to so-and-so house? Like, my parents wasn't tripping because I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. Not only was my grades good, I was running track, I was doing cheerleading, like I had a job. I was on my shit in high school. So my parents really gave me a lot of freedom because I earned it. So that being said, by the time I was 18, graduating high school, the everyday stuff, like the partying, all of that, like it was played out to me. And before I got into a relationship with my husband, obviously my husband now, I came out of a relationship that I don't necessarily know if I'll ever really tell y'all about, because low-key it's been 10 years, and even though I'm married happily, have a child and all that, like that relationship, I still have a lot to unpack. So like I was just tired, y'all. Like I was tired of dating, and I was just like, you know, what could go wrong? And I know that's like very against my Virgo rising ways, but that was the one time where I was just like, well, F it, let's see where this goes. And here we are 10 years later. So getting married young, like I know it's a big deal to most, but it just didn't feel like a big deal to me. It still doesn't feel like a big deal to me. The fact that my husband and I have been married longer than a lot of people that are older than us that we meet is like still crazy. Like that's never not going to be crazy, honestly. Like, yeah, when we meet people that are like in their 30s or 40s and they're like, oh, we've been married 4 years, 5 years, and they were like, how long have y'all been married? And we're like, almost 10. And they're like, how old are you? And then people start doing the math in their head, and we be like, yeah, we got married at 18 and 20. But I take pride in being able to say later on down the line, if that is the way that life is supposed to work out, me saying that like, yo, I married my high school sweetheart. Not like my high school sweetheart, we didn't meet in high school, but it was just like I was in high school, he was out of high school. I went to an all girls Catholic school in Brooklyn. Like, y'all, my life story crazy. Okay, when I say crazy, crazy. But the girl that I went to school, no, like this is who I was dating when we graduated high school. And here I am we've been together 10 years, about to be married for 9. Like, life is just crazy. But yeah, that's just kind of my thoughts on getting married young. Do I recommend you do it? Absolutely not. Understand that for some people, it just works. For other people, it doesn't. And we just so happen to be fortunate to be one of those couples that it worked. People be like, when I tell people I got married at 18, they be acting like I missed out on so much life. And the way I look at it is I got to experience life with my best friend. We've lived all over the world. because of the military. We've lived in Hawaii, we've lived in Italy. Like, we were married for 7 years before we had our son. Trust me, we had fun, right? Like, don't get me wrong, we was living a different life than like regular single people our age, but we was living that fun life with a partner. Like, it was lit. Like, it still is lit. Like, we're homeowners now, parents now, and the journey to become parents. Like I said, if you haven't listened to my podcast, I kind of break down a lot of who I am and where my husband and I kind of started with this adulting journey on my podcast. So definitely make sure you go check it out on all streaming platforms. All right, so the next topic that I have written down is what it's like being an army wife. Because not only am I a young wife, I'm an army wife. And a lot of people might automatically assume like, oh, you got married because your husband is in the military. I've been with my husband since before he was in the military. Like, when I was in high school and he had already graduated high school, he was still a civilian, like working a regular job. We were still very much regular New York kids when I met him. When we met, he already knew he was going to the military. He just didn't tell me until we had gotten serious. So, you know, I was enjoying my senior year of high school activities, getting ready for freshman year of college at an HBCU. Like, I was living my very best life. And then one day my mom was like, you got a letter from somebody in the army. And I was like, what? He really wrote me? Oh, he's serious about continuing this relationship. And literally the rest is history. As far as being an army wife, I will say it is probably one of the hardest titles, badges that I wear, because a lot of people think that because he's in the military, we live this certain lifestyle. And anybody that knows us knows that we're very much regular. We're very much like still Brooklyn kids. Haven't lived in Brooklyn in like 6 years. 7 years, probably longer than that, but we're still very much New York through and through. Like, we from Brooklyn where they killed Biggie, all of that. And it's just like, when you come from an inner city, specifically a city like where we come from, military life is a complete 180. It's completely different than anything we've ever known. We've been in this military life for almost 10 years. He just hit his 10 year in September. And like, y'all, it's still not for us. I respect the people that are in it for the 20, more power to you. But other people understand that it's just a stepping stone. And yeah, I'm gonna just leave it at that. I will say it is one of the loneliest journeys I've ever been on as a young Black millennial wife. There are not many wives that can relate to me. I've met a lot of great people. Don't get me wrong, at a lot of duty stations. The only thing is, I've realized a lot of those relationships are just seasonal. So like, you become forced to make friends with people you probably may not really be friends with if it wasn't for the fact that you're only living in this place for 2 to 3 years and like, you don't want to be here without friends, right? So you're like, let me hurry up and make some friends. So you make friends, people are cool, but then you move to your next duty station 2-3 years later and like, you really never hear from them people again. But that's normal in the military world, and that's just not the kind of girl I am. Like, I don't know, like, y'all, 0 out of 10 would not recommend. The next topic I have written down is the pressure of Black love. And, gotta put the wine glass down, because I don't think people people look at young Black millennial relationships, especially relationships like ours, not putting us on some type of pedestal. I'm just being honest about the things that people have told me, and you know, I'm just not stupid. So like, when you've been together as long as we have, like, and you're young and you're Black, like, people tend to look up to you as like relationship goals or couple goals, and that comes with a certain amount of pressure. And what I mean by pressure is like, people expect y'all to last. Like, don't get me wrong, I expect us to last too, but like, having the pressure of everyone else, the outside world, expecting you to last, especially when you're a couple like us that got married so young, when people are literally doubting you, doubting your relationship from the very beginning. People are literally wishing and praying on your downfall so they can say, oh, I was right. You shouldn't have gotten married at 18 and 20. What were you thinking? Obviously, that was a mistake. Like, people be waiting to spin a block on your downfall, and that come with a certain amount of pressure. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, we built and we solid, and we the type of people that realize pressure either going to build diamonds or bust pipes. And obviously, we've been in this thing rocking for almost a decade, so clearly we building diamonds and not busting pipes. But it's just like, even if we are going through it, I make it a point to like not be, I'm currently on a social media break accidentally, but like if we beefing, like I can't be just, or at least I feel like I can't be just like a regular girl that's like, let me post these lyrics throwing subs, let me post these quotes throwing subs, because then I feel like people be like, oh damn, like people be waiting for that, you know what I'm saying? And I don't be trying to give them that type of energy, because one, that's not what my platform is about. Like, my platform is built upon showcasing what real black love look like. Not perfect black love, but what real black love look like and consists of. And it's because of that, I guess maybe I'm thinking too much into it, but I just feel like when you're a young millennial couple that's actually doing okay, doing well, like don't have any major issues, y'all not making up and breaking up every week on the internet, like all of that type of stuff, I feel like it comes with a certain amount of pressure that people don't realize. But then again, that could just be my Virgo rising putting pressure on myself and on my relationship. That's why, like, if we ever at it, like, I'll just take a social media break, because it just comes with too much pressure. Like, one thing I'm never gonna do is give people the chance to be like, oh, yep, been waiting. Like, it's probably people that deadass been waiting 10 years to be like, oh, yep, they ain't make it. Like, I knew that wasn't gonna, like, and I'm sorry. You're not gonna get it. Even if we don't work out, like, you would never know. Stop playing with me. Y'all, this mask, I don't know if y'all can tell, but it's getting hella cracked and it's getting a little stiff, but it still got a couple wet spots. The next topic I have is being young in real estate. If you don't know, I am a licensed realtor here in the state of South Carolina. I currently service the Columbia/Fort Jackson area, so shameless plug. If you or anybody that you know are looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, I'm your homegirl. Because what other realtor you know is finna sit here in a clay mask with a nice glass of wine and a robe, a black owned, period. Shout out to Jewelry's Home. That's the same company that I have my little face, I call them scrunchies. I don't know what y'all call them, whatever. But you put this on to keep the water from dripping down your arm and wetting up all your sink and all type of things. Very much black owned, and she's from Brooklyn, and she's West Indian. So Nikita Gibson, shout out to you. I'm gonna have her Instagram and her YouTube down below, because she do be on YouTube. So yeah. What other realtor you know is pulling up like this? And that's on period. But being young in real estate, like being a millennial, being brand new, being somebody that started real estate post-pandemic world, come with a whole nother set of pressures. Because let me tell y'all, these veteran agents, oh baby, the shade, they be trying to throw palm trees. It be giving banana leaves, but they be trying to throw, it be giving my shower curtain, which is from Amazon, by the way. But yeah, like they be trying to throw shade, but it's all, I feel like being young in real estate is like being young at any job. It's like when you go to a job and there's an old head that been working there for years, and you the new kid coming in doing the same thing, and in the back of your head you be like, damn, sis been working here at XYZ, like damn. But it's not necessarily like a damn, she not doing good for herself. It's just like, this is really what she's good at, or this is really what he or she is good at, this is what they like. And you just be like, damn, I just can't see myself being that age and doing this. Like, excuse me. It's just that type of vibe. Like, being young in real estate, a lot of the vets feel like the millennials, like the new agents, like we just want to cut corners, and it's like working with your parents, where like they have a way that works. But us being millennials, we gonna find a better way that works, that requires less work, or like something they didn't think about. But like the generation before us is gonna consider it lazy, just because we ain't take the same steps they took. That's what it feels like being young in real estate. It feels like a lot of older agents are like, why are y'all reinventing the wheel? When in fact, a lot of us are just trying to work smarter and not harder. And yeah, it come with a lot of shade. Like, I be peeping it, I just don't be saying it, because I'm not finna disrespect nobody's mother, so Them lucky others have home training. Alright. Y'all, this mask is officially getting way too hard, so I'm about to wash this on my face and then I'll be right back. Alright, yeah, so I'm back, all freshly washed. And now I'm about to go in with my, I don't know if y'all can actually put it on the screen, but I'm about to go in with my Case Skin, so the same brand of the nourishing stick that I used to moisturize my face before I like cleaned up my brows. Same brand. She has a turmeric ginger stick that's really good for like lightening up dark spots. I don't know if you guys can see, but I have like a scab right here from a pimple that I popped. I have quite a bit of hyperpigmentation, like the average black girl. So it goes on pretty hard at first, and then like the temperature of your skin obviously warms it up, and you guys will be able to kind of see that. But yeah, that's just what I'm doing at the moment. So I washed the clay mask off, and now I'm doing the turmeric mask. But the next topic that I have written down is what it's like to be in a relationship where you guys are of different religions. So I put religion in quotations because we have come a long way in this decade that we've been together. You don't need a lot of this. I just like to keep going until, as you guys can see, it's like gliding on. So like that's what I was saying, like your body temp, your skin temp eventually like melts the stick down, and it just kind of starts gliding on there. And that's kind of what I want. And eventually you guys will see, as it looks like this, like you can clearly see it's a yellow mask. It will just like look like glowy skin by the time I wash it off. You'll see. And I usually leave this on for, I don't know, a few minutes. I don't know. Today I'm gonna leave it on as long as I'm talking to y'all. Remember to wipe it off. But yeah, that's enough. I just keep going because I be trying to get these little like specks that y'all probably can see. But yeah. So this is, I think, an important topic to talk about, because when my husband and I met, we were originally of different religions. I grew up in a very Catholic / Christian / kind of 7-day Adventist Hispanic West Indian household, and he grew up in an Islamic Muslim household. And a lot of people probably wonder, or like we've gotten questions like, how do you guys make it work? Or before we had our son, people would ask us, well, like, what are you guys gonna do when you have kids? How are you gonna make it work? Like, are you gonna go to church and to the mosque, blah 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 blah. And we just made it work. I feel like that's one of like those big taboo things where, like, you know, like if someone's of a different religion than you just like you don't be with them. But that just wasn't the case for us, because like I grew up in a religious household, but it wasn't one of those strict religious households. Like we didn't go to church every single Sunday. If anything, I went to church on my own when I was in high school. If you're from Brooklyn, I went to CCC because one of my friends at the time, like, she went there, and I would go to church with her and her family. Like my household specifically was not super religious and strict, and I thank God for that every single day, because I feel like the people that grow up like being forced to go to church and being forced to go to Bible study, like, you create this image of God that is pushed on you. And I was fortunate enough to not have that, so I was able to build my own relationship with God. And as I grew older, and as y'all heard me say earlier in the video, I'm on a spiritual journey now. So it's like, I'm glad that I married the man that I married regardless of his faith, because it turns out in the grand scheme of things, it didn't really matter, because neither one of us, even though we grew up in religious households, like he grew up going to the mosque, like, you know, praying, he has a prayer mat, participating in Ramadan, just traditional Islamic religion. As we got older, it's not that we stride, help me out, y'all, comment down below. It's not that we away from religion, we just became a lot more spiritual beings. So the place that I am in now, almost 30 years old, a mother, a wife of almost a decade. Like, I consider myself to be, I've said it on my channel before, but if you're new here, I consider myself to be more spiritual than religious. I don't believe, like, I believe in a higher power, but I don't believe that higher power is higher than me, if that makes sense. Like, I believe that God is within me. Like how they say God built you in his or her image, however you want to look at it. I don't believe that God is somebody in the sky that I pray to that's like above me, that I'm like gotta bow down to his or her feet. I feel like God is in me. I am literally one version of God, as is every person walking in this physical realm. And I just feel like, had I been one of those super strict religious people that's like, oh, I need my husband or wife to be of this specific religion, I would have closed myself off from a person that I genuinely feel is my soulmate. Like, I feel like our souls have been intertwined, or like we this is not our first rodeo together. I feel that. I want to say that he feels that, but I don't want to speak for him. I hate when people doing those videos and they just holding the wine glass but not really drinking, but here I am. Because like I said, this is teleport. Like, this ain't regular wine. And I'm trying to get through all of this before I get too tipsy. But I feel like if you are interested in someone that doesn't have the same faith as you, and you're worried about what your family's gonna think, or what your church family's gonna think, or the congregation, whatever, I'm gonna tell you something that I think about often. Caskets fit one. You have to leave this world by yourself, the same way that you entered it. And we are here for a good time, not a long time. And we are here on borrowed time. So you really gonna spend the little bit amount of time that you don't know if you have or not worrying about what other people think, worrying about what people in a building that are supposed to not be judging, you're worried about how they're gonna judge you? Yeah. And that's just that on that. Honestly, that kind of rolled me right into my next topic, which is gonna be the stigma around spirituality. And I feel like a lot of people, when they think spirituality, they think like, oh my God, voodoo and witches and spells and sage and palo santos and stones and like things of the devil or things of this, whatever religious people are referring to it as. I even seen a post on Facebook by this girl that I used to go to school with about how like yoga was of the devil, and like, I'm just like, I don't think God left none of y'all in charge to be telling people what they can and can't do. You do what you feel like you're supposed to be doing, and you're gonna get where you want to be in the next life. Don't be worried about what other people doing. Like, I feel like the people that feel like it's their job to convert as many people and save as many people, save yourself, okay? Save yourself and you'll be fine, because at the end of the day, regardless of how many people you save or not, that casket still only fits one. None of them people is going out with you. None of them, like when your number gets called, how many of them people's lives is gonna stop? Because when your number gets called, the next day people gotta go to work. The next day people gotta go to school. Life is still gonna go on. So spending the little bit of borrowed time that you have trying to save as many people, save your fucking self. Save yourself. I feel like people are not selfish enough. Like, whether you're religious or spiritual or whatever, like, worry about you. Because that's the only person you can control. Now, if God puts it in your heart to speak something, that's fine. But the people that go out of their way to condemn what other people do, like, based on a book that half of y'all have not read cover to cover, that y'all do not understand cover to cover, is beyond me. And that's not to talk down to any religion. It's just, I've learned that, in my opinion, religion is a third party, a third person. Kind of like how in the Catholic religion, like they pray to a lot of saints. And I told you guys, I went to Catholic high school. So in high school, it's explained to me, like, you pray to the saints because you just want extra prayers to go up for you. I feel like religion in general is that extra. I don't need in my opinion, to go to a building with a bunch of other people once a week to prove that I'm a good person, to prove that I have a relationship with God. I feel like I seen a tweet. I talked about this on my podcast again. If you haven't followed my podcast, The MELANATED Mindset, what are you doing? I be talking my talk on there. I seen a tweet on Twitter that said, spirituality brought me closer to God than religion ever could. And I have never related to a tweet more than that one, because my relationship with God, like, yo, we like this. Whereas when I was forcing myself to be religious and forcing myself to try to understand these scriptures that don't seem like they was written in terms that were meant for me to understand, it felt forced. It felt fake. It felt like I was praying because that's what I was supposed to do, because that's what people wanted me to do. I was praying the way the church made me pray or told me to pray, or the way Bible study taught me to pray. I wasn't just being real and working on my relationship with self and my relationship with source, aka God, aka my inner self. And it's not till I went on this spiritual journey that I realized I don't need none of that. I feel like if you need to go to church every Sunday, you need to read the Bible every single day, like you need all of these things in order to feel good or like you're doing what you're supposed to, like, what's the point? You should be able to be by yourself. No cross, no ankh, no Bible, no Quran, no nothing. And you should still be good in his hood. I'm sorry if I'm breaking it down in terms that religious people are going to find offensive, but listen, all right? I'm blessed, highly favored, and my ancestors got my back. And God is within me. I am in this world. I'm not of this world, if that makes sense. Y'all, the Taylor port is starting to kick in. As y'all can see, y'all see what I'm talking about? How like the turmeric mash just kind of literally melted and now it's just giving beautiful melanated glazed donut. Yeah, we love that. The next topic that I have written down is going to be gentle parenting struggles. Because if you're a millennial parent, specifically someone that became a parent during the pandemic, the coronavirus pandemic, we gotta take a drink to that. Because, woo, y'all, if you don't know, my husband and I struggled to conceive for 2 years before I finally got pregnant with our son. I suffer from PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. I personally believe that it was because I was on Depo-Provera, which is a birth control shot, from about sophomore year of high school up until freshman year of college. I gained a tremendous amount of weight. Like, I talk about my journey, my birth control journey, and my trying to conceive journey on my podcast again, The MELANATED Mindset. But growing up in New York City in the early 2000s, growing up in a West Indian household, nobody was gentle. And I'm gonna call a spade a spade. And that's not to say that my parents or my family, they lacked something or they didn't do something they were supposed to. We was Caribbean immigrants living in New York City, all right? Nobody was gentle with me because nobody was gentle with them. Like, nobody knew how to be gentle with each other. Like, everybody was trying to figure out how to survive, okay? And I understand that. But most people would say I was born with like a silver spoon in my mouth. Like, my parents, we wasn't rich. Like, we was nowhere near rich. But like, my parents worked hard and I was the only child for 16 years. So I got pretty much whatever I wanted. Like I told you, my grades was good. And I kept my own job. I started working literally at 15. If you from New York, that little blue working papers you get from your guidance counselor in high school, I was working for my mom at that, like at McDonald's, like on Fridays after school when people was getting ready to go hang out with their friends and go chill. No, Tyanne was in the bathroom in school after the last bell, changing out of my Catholic school uniform, changing into my McDonald's uniform, getting ready to catch the bus all the way to Sheepshead Bay to the McDonald's right there across the street from Sheepshead Bay Projects, like. And that was my life, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I saw my friends back again on Monday, unless there was something major going on the weekends. Sorry, y'all, I can't go. I gotta work. Like, I was getting that bread. My parents made sure they instilled work ethic in me as soon as it became legal. But I think having immigrant and like West Indian parents, like, that's That's just a given. That's what they were used to. They were used to working. Both of my parents still work to this day. And I pray for the day that I can make enough money to retire my parents. But realistically, I could pay my parents houses and all their bills off, and both my parents still won't get up and go to work, because why not? Like, if I can, why not? Like, that's just the type of parents and household I grew up in. So the moment I became eligible to work, it was a second thought to me. Like, all right, if I could go make my own money, why won't I? I want to go to prom. I want this $800 dress. Like, I want to go on a senior trip. I want to do all this stuff. And my parents' responsibility is to make sure that I'm good. They don't got to give me all of this, because there were some kids that couldn't afford to go to prom, couldn't afford to go to a senior trip. So if I have the opportunity to work and pay for it myself, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna take a little bit of burden off my parents. I'm gonna pay my little cell phone bill or whatever. I just grew up really quickly, but I also think I was a product of my environment, and that just forced me to be a grown-up, not well before I should have, but before a lot of people become an adult. And I think that's another reason why getting married young wasn't a big deal for me, because in my head, I've always been more mature. People always tell me they think I'm older than I am. Like, I've been hearing that my entire life. I feel that. I feel older. I feel like my soul has been here before. I know that my soul has been here before. I see it in my 2-year-old son. My 2-year-old son has definitely been here before. He chose to come here again. He chose me to be his mom, and it's so obvious. So if that's what my parents were looking at when I was growing up, like, yeah, they knew that there was no point in being gentle, because I understood their struggle, even though I really didn't. Even though I didn't have to struggle. I had the parents that were always at work, like always at work. Weren't showing up to like all my sporting events or after school activities because they were at work. But guess what? Anytime there was something to do or something to pay for or a trip to go on, I had the bread, because my parents was always working and busting their ass for it. So I was that girl that was going on other people's family trips because my parents couldn't take off. But my parents got the money for me to go, so I'm gonna just go with my friends. Like, that's just how I grew up. And I feel like because I grew up like that, trying to gentle parent, y'all, gentle parenting is so hard when you didn't have a gentle parent. And it's not to say my parents were just hard for no reason. My parents were hard because life was hard. My parents were trying to prepare me for the real world. And I feel like it's because of that I was prepared for the real world. I was okay getting married at 18. Like, I'm standing in front of y'all almost 30 years old, a homeowner, a business owner, an entrepreneur, a mother. Like, if my parents wasn't hustling and bustling and I ain't see them getting up and getting to it every day, I wouldn't be getting up and getting to it every day. So gentle parenting is like, both me and my husband did not come from gentle households. So trying to be something you've never experienced is so hard. Like, the easy thing to do is to yell and to pop them and to do what I say, not what I do. Like, that's what's easy. What's hard is when your child is at that stage, like ours is very intuitive and inquisitive and just like, why? What's hard is having to explain why. What's hard is not getting annoyed when they ask you why 50 million times and you done told them already. Like, I don't think people understand how hard it is to be the example you've never had. So if you are a millennial parent, specifically a millennial mama that became a mama during the pandemic, baby, give yourself grace. We literally became parents in a new world. The world we're living in today is not the world that it was 3 years ago, pre-pandemic. I cannot raise my child for the world that I grew up in, because that world deceased in 2020 when COVID-19 became a thing. Like, nothing about life has been the same. So I can't expect myself to parent the way my parents parented, because life is not the same. I had to adapt. Therefore, my parenting had to adapt. And it takes a little while. It takes a little getting used to and you getting your groove or whatever. But just be gentle with yourself. And the one thing I'm learning is children are so forgiving. Yeah, you may yell today. 20 minutes, they still won't love you. I always make it a thing to come back to my son. If I feel like I spazzed out or I was more harsh than I should have, I feel bad. I get mom guilt. And I find myself coming back to apologizing to him like, you know, mommy love you, right? Mommy's sorry. That's not how we approach things. I find myself trying to correct the behaviors in myself so that he doesn't grow up to repeat the cycle. So we could dead ass break these generational curses. Like, not just talk about it, not just tweet about it, not just post about it, but for real, I'm trying to heal my own traumas. And that's coming from a girl in her 20-somethings, almost 30-somethings that has never been to therapy. Don't start, all right? I have an appointment scheduled literally in like a week. I'm going to get a therapist because Black women, you need a therapist. Whether your life was hard, whether you feel your life was good, you need a therapist. And I have realized that. And I am going to take you guys on my Black girl therapy journey. We'll see what comes of that, but I am going to therapy. But I have learned all of these things about myself while on this spiritual journey. And gentle parenting. All right. Some days it ain't so gentle. All right, y'all. And for that turmeric mask, I just use a warm, wet paper towel. And I just wipe it all off. And as y'all can see, the paper towel, actually, I don't know if how good y'all can see. Paper towel is very much yellow. So, like, don't forget you got this on and go lay on your pillow because you will be big mad. Turmeric is like curry. It don't come off. It stains. But speaking of curry, that brings me to the very last topic, which is going to be not having enough Caribbean/West Indian friends. And that is a con of this military life, okay? One of my best friends to this day, one of my son's godmothers, is a girl that I met in Hawaii. Bad gal Kiki, shout out to you. But she was the first West Indian girl I met in Hawaii. Like, she's Trinidadian and St. Tomian. And when I tell y'all, we just gravitated towards each other. Like, you know when, like, you're the only Black person in the room and then you see another Black person that seemed cool and y'all kind of just, that's how me and her was. And, like, we've been inseparable ever since. Like, finding other West Indian friends in this military life, so hard. Because, listen, a lot of us know, listen, this military thing, it's not for us. Respectfully and rightfully so. With another K-Skins product, like, K-Skins really just needs to sponsor me at this point because, like, y'all, I literally use all her products. Like, this is definitely used. My husband uses this now, so this is just a lip scrub. But yeah, like, growing up Caribbean, it's one thing to grow up Black. Like, if you're on Twitter or on social media, you know there are those posts that you see that you be like, damn, we all really grew up the same. But being West Indian on top of being Black is like, oh nah, like y'all had cameras in my crib. Literally just today, a tweet was going viral on Twitter about a girl saying, she's tweeted like, I knew I couldn't date too far out of my culture because I don't want to explain to you why I wash my panties in the shower. And like, when I say that tweet is going viral and people is calling her all type of dirty. And I'm just like, I literally responded to the tweet. Listen, the Caribbean girls that get it. Yo, I cannot tell y'all how when I go to my mother's house, I have, like, if Malika's gonna shower, not in the guest shower, but in my mother's bathroom, I have, like, my brain is already conditioned. Hold on, babe. Let me go to the bathroom. Like, let me go and hurry up and switch down my mother's drawers. Like, to this day, yo, my mother be so vexed with me that I wash drawers in a washing machine. And, like, if you're not West Indian, none of that is going to resonate with you. Like, none of that is going, you're going to be like, ew. Like, I don't know. Like, when I met my best friend in Hawaii, it was just like a breath of fresh air because it was just like, oh my God, I don't have to explain my culture to you because I may not have lived, and then I just wipe it off with a wet paper towel, y'all. I may not have lived in New York in a couple years, but like, I'm always going to be West Indian. I'm always going to claim my Afro-Latina self because, like, yes, I consider myself to be Afro-Latina. I told you, my mother is Panamanian. Like, my mother is way lighter than me, but if you know anybody that's Panamanian, like, most Panamanians is my complexion. So, but my father is Haitian. So, I just consider myself to be Afro-Latina. Like, I'm black, but I'm Hispanic, but I'm West Indian. Like, it's just, I ride that line, like, according to people. Me, I ain't online. I just check black and Hispanic. Even when it just tell me check one, I check both of them because I'm both of them. So it just is what it is. And it's like not having other Caribbean people to relate to on a day-to-day basis where you live happen to be the one. Anytime I want saltfish, I just have to make it. I just have to make the dumplings and the bakes myself. I can't go over to my friend like, oh, let me go and get some curry. No, I gotta do it all myself. And then like, I just hate explaining my culture to people because it's so much. It's not like I could just give it to you all on a platter. Like, all right, here go my Caribbean culture. That's all. No, I can't do that. Every time something does come up, I have to explain to you why I'm approaching the situation differently than other people. And I feel like when you grow up West Indian, when you grow up Caribbean, like you just have a certain level of home training and like common sense just don't be common. And I just be like, yo, when you grow up West Indian and you really see how some of these like black Americans that like grew up American, like you be like, wow, like we really cut from a different cloth. Because some of these Yankees there, I don't get it, y'all. I don't get it. And I think that's why me and one of my best friends click. Like, I ain't heard her say she met another West Indian since meeting me. And like I said, I'm just using the Thayer's facial mist, the Witch Hazel Rose Petal Spray Mist. Like, she get the vibe. Like my other best, I only have 2 best friends in this lifetime. One of them is the one I'm telling y'all about, and this is just aloe vera gel from Target. One of them is the Saint Tomian and Trinidadian girl I told y'all I met in Hawaii. She is one of my son's godmothers, and then my other son's godmother is my best friend since 6th grade, who is a yardie, true and true. Born a yard, Jamaican, true and true, if you don't know what that means. And it's just like, the fact that my 2 best friends are both Caribbean, like, I cannot have it any other way. Like, living in the South really got me missing New York. Like, I miss being around other Caribbean people. And I think I took living in New York for granted so much because being Caribbean in New York, everybody is West Indian. Everybody is Caribbean. Everybody is Hispanic. Everybody come from an island. Nobody claims to be from this here America. When you live in the South, oh baby, like it's black people you ask them where they from, they gonna tell you here. I'm from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Like, comment down below if you know what movie that's from. If you know, you know, and that's my movie. But like, I be like, so you never took the time to figure out where people that I'm really from? Because there's no way you believe that you and your people and your people's people and people's people is from here. Y'all understand? We don't come from here. So nobody ever took the time to figure out where y'all does originate from? All right. You American? Okay. All right. And I understand that I was born here, so by birth that makes me American, but I know where my culture, where my family, where my bloodline is from. And I feel like when I hear black people just be like, oh, I'm American, all I hear is nobody in my family took the time to really dive deep into our ancestry. That's what I hear, because there's no way you're telling me you're from America. None of we is from here, you know, but that's neither here nor there. And it just, y'all, it hurts. If you watching this and you still in New York and you could walk down the street and go and get an oxtail with rice and peas and like, it's other Caribbean people. We went to one Caribbean event out here that I found on Eventbrite. And y'all, it was like one block. Picture, if you're from New York, picture the Labor Day parade, but one block. And when I tell y'all, we was so hype. Me and Malik was mad happy. And on top of that, it was an extra special day because that day that we went to that Caribbean event, I ran into one of my podcast listeners. I'm going to keep plugging my podcast because literally this is giving podcast talk. But shout out to you, Winter. Like, I was literally stopped in the street by a girl. She was like, hey, I follow you on Instagram. Like, Taj, what's up? Like, I listened to your podcast. And I was like, I was giving fangirl moment, but like she was supposed to be fangirling me, and I was like, you know who I am? What? It was crazy. And that was the one Caribbean event they had here. And guess what? She Caribbean and from New York. And I was like, you see? Like, girl, we here because we just different. Like, being West Indian, you're a different type of black. Especially because, like I said, I consider myself to be Afro-Latina. So I don't consider myself just black. I'm equally Hispanic as I am black. Although I may appear to most people, like, you could look at me and be like, oh, you're black. But if you go to Panama, yo, the women is even darker than me. Like, and that's normal. And those are people, some of them don't even consider themselves to be black. And it's like, I just miss having people that can relate to me. I miss people that eat the same foods I eat, that I don't have to explain. Like, when I say don't have to explain, if you West Indian, you know what porridge is. Y'all, I love some of the Yankee friends that I made. I love them with all my heart. But why, when I was in Italy, my good friend, I ain't gonna call her name out, but why I tell her I'm making porridge, and Siska said, like, Goldilocks and the Three Bears? Yes, and she was dead serious. Like, she ain't never heard that thing made in real life outside of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. When me, I been eating cornmeal porridge from before I could walk with some hard-dough bread. Like, I hate not having people that can relate to my culture. I really, really do. But I feel like that's why I am so into my YouTube channel now, because I'm trying to build a tribe that I feel like I don't have. So if you West Indian, go ahead and drop all of the flags in the comments. Rep your country. I was gonna say rep your set, but hold on, the Brooklyn almost jumped out, y'all. The Taylor Port is Taylor Porting. As y'all can see, I'm almost done. And that was literally the last topic that I had. So if you made it this far in the video, I don't even know how long this video is. I don't know how much of this I'm gonna cut out. It's been a day. It's probably like 1 o'clock in the morning. No, it's not, because I haven't heard my alarm go off. And I gotta wake our son up at 1:30 to go pee, because we're at the potty training stage. And like I told y'all, Malik is not home. So I gotta wake up at the 1 o'clock shift and the 4 o'clock shift. And here I am drinking with y'all. If you made it this far in the video, congratulations. Welcome to the tribe. Hello. You stuck with me now. So you might as well go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because like I said, it's Vlogmas, and I'm uploading a video every single day of Vlogmas. So you don't want to miss tomorrow's upload. So while you at that subscribe button, go ahead and hit that notification bell. Not one time, but two. And I will see you. Yeah, you. Because clearly, if you made it this far in the video, you fuck with me or whatever. I ain't even supposed to be cursing. It's the Taylor Port. But I will see you, yes you, tomorrow in my next video. Peace, y'all. Y'all want to see me check this before I leave? First of all, eyes are already sitting on low. I did I put this on? Y'all look. I put the aloe vera gel on, and then I just go back in with that same nurse, tipsy but still remembering like the content. This is the same nursing stick I put on when I was doing my brows in the very beginning of the video. First of all, I'm tripping. That's like too much. But after the aloe vera gel, I put that back on. And it's giving black girl glazed donut skincare sitting on Jackie Aina, you heard? But y'all want to see me check this last bit of Taylor Port? Might as well. Whatever. I'm only doing this because it's Vlogmas. Like, y'all, what? Now I got me tipsy on here talking. If you drink Taylor Port, you know this is great Hennessy. And coming from somebody that's a New Yorker, yeah, I'm a New Yorker through and through. The fact that I used to drink Hennessy straight, yo, just smelling Hennessy with me. We got pure white Hennessy in there for my birthday trip. If you haven't seen my birthday vlog where me and my man went to the Bahamas for a cruise, what are you doing? It is going to be linked right here or right here. I don't know. It's in one of them, child. But we got Pure Hennessy from August. It's December, y'all. And just the smell of it, I'm gonna take this little Taylor Port and be toe up, because just a wine kind of girl. Living in Europe, living in Italy for 3 years will turn you into a wine type of girl. And I got this, if you're wondering where this wine glass is from, Wally World, aka Walmart. Yes, it was $16 for a set of 4, and they're like, y'all probably can't see, but the rim is like gold. Super luxurious, super fire. Left the ASMR gulp in there so y'all know it's real. Period. Now that y'all officially have me too tipsy to be on YouTube, like I said, I will see you, yes you, tomorrow in my next video. Peace, y'all.